Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel Trailhead Ranger NJ, and we are doing this video to complete the super badge user access fundamentals. So as its name suggests that we'll be focusing on what are the fundamentals of the user access in Salesforce, what kind of access are present, on what level we can provide them, where it will be beneficial or not. So these kind of things we'll be talking about. And again, for this super badge there is one more prerequisite, that is the data security module. So we'll start with the data security module and then we'll complete the super badge. So in this video we'll be focusing on completion of data security module. So let's open this, and if I'll open this data security, so it is basically talking about what are the best practices, what kind of all features we have available in Salesforce for providing or secure the data in Salesforce. So let's get started. So first of all, we are giving the overview of data security in first module, first unit, that's it. So if we talk about what is, like, why do we even want to secure the data? So you might be aware, and you even have heard, even if you are using the WhatsApp and everything, you hear the word encrypted, that is to secure your data, to not leak your confidential information. So similarly in Salesforce as well, we utilize multiple or different kind of business requirements for different types of industries. So there is always a thing to secure the confidential data for some things like sorry, if you are applying for the position, or if you are storing the data of your organization, there is some personal detail for each employee and everything that you don't want to be messed up or even have gotten into wrong hands. So for those purpose we have to have data secure in our Salesforce org, that which users or which kind of people should have access and on what level. Maybe on if I just define it like this, like level 1 people, level 2 people, level 3 people. Level 3 people are the topmost on the hierarchy, and the level 1 are the belowest. So level 1 should not have access to everything, right? They should have access to minimal things. Then level 2 should have access to whatever the level 1 people are having access to and some more access. And then level 3 should have all the access. So how can we control those things in the Salesforce? So we'll be talking about all of that and what kind of features are available in the Salesforce. So we will get started. So there are different levels of data access. So Salesforce divides these levels of access on the 4 levels. We can provide the access on the level of organization, then on the object, and then on the fields, and even on records basis. So if we talk about organization, then if you want to provide the access on your whole org or for the whole org, we can even maintain a list of authorized users. We can set the password policies. We can limit the login attempts to the certain hours, or we can even limit the logins for certain locations. Like we can set up the IP address limit that. Only within these IP limits it should be accessible, otherwise it should not accessible. That is the org. So these kind of data access we can provide on the organization level. Then if we talk about the object, so now on the object level, by utilizing the permissions on a particular type of object, like if we want to allow the user to view the object, read the object, or write, edit it, basically delete any records of that object, if we want to provide access on that level, or even we want to inhibit access on that level, then we can utilize the object level of access. And yeah, now for the fields, now we have given access on the object level, that user should be able to see the object or its record. But we can even restrict the access on the field level, like suppose there are 10 fields on a particular object. And again, the way I have talked about, like level 1 and level 2 people, so suppose level 1 should only be able to see 3 or 4 fields on the object. So we can provide the profile or the permission set of the level 1 users with those field level access, and do not provide the access of all the other fields. Then for the level 2 people, we can provide the access for other 2 or 3 more fields, and for the level 3 people we can provide the access for all the fields. So that's how we can restrict or even provide the access using the field level access. Now let's talk about the record level access. Now we have allowed our particular users to view an object, and but we are restricting the individual object records they are allowed to see. We can even restrict their access on the record level. So for like if we talk about examples, so suppose an interviewer can see and edit their own reviews, but they cannot check out the reviews owned by the records by any other interviewer or maybe senior level of manager or these kind of things. So that's also how we can manage the access. Now if we talk about like how you can provide the record level access, so for providing the record level access we are having one feature of organization wide default. So for that we can there are three features, like on the particular object, if you will give private, public read or public read write, these three options are available. So if you will give private access, then it will allow only the user to see the records which are being owned by themselves. If you are providing public read only, then all the records will be in read only mode for all the users, means they will not be able to edit any of the record. If you are providing public read write, then they will be able to read the record, edit the record and vice. And there is one more feature on there, that is like grant access using role hierarchies. So role hierarchy is nothing but the thing, level 1, level 2, level 3, the kind of feature I have explained. So if we are allowing the user to view have the access based on the role hierarchies, then what will happen, the level 3 will have access automatically the records owned by level 2 as well as level 1, and similarly level 2 will have access for all the records owned by level 1 but not level 3. So that's how it will work. Now there is one more feature, that is sharing rule. So using sharing rule you can even enhance or provide more access, or you can control the access on the record level basis for the user. There are generally two types of sharing rule we can create, that is owner based or the criteria based. As its name suggests, owner based is you can handle their access level based on the records owned by any particular user, like you can see if it is being owned by this person or a particular public group or queue, then only allow them to see the record, otherwise not. Criteria based, if there is certain function sorry basically criteria is being true, maybe you are checking for profile, maybe you are checking for their role or anything like that. Now we are having another one, that is manual sharing. So manual sharing is nothing but you are directly sharing a record with another person, and then only they will be able to see the record. There is no criteria will be checked, there is no ownership will be checked, but only that if it is being shared by one person to another or not. So yeah, now there are some audit system used field as well. So audit system, basically system generated fields. So there are some record modification fields, such as the user who has created the record, who has last modified the record, when has it has been modified, when the record has been created, who is the owner of the record. So these kind of things are comes into the record modification field. Now there is another feature, that is login history. So basically we can review the list of successful and the failed login attempts for the past 6 months in our org, and check for like what's the status on the login history, if any unauthorized access has been done, or if any user is not doing the login correctly or things like that. Then we have field history tracking as well. So basically we can enable the history on a particular field. So what will happen, suppose I'll take an example, on opportunity there is a stage field, and if I will enable the field history tracking for that stage field, then whenever any user or any procedure will make any change on that stage field, it will be tracked in the logs. Logs as in there is activity history, I believe that's the related tab name. There you will be able to see the field history tracking, and at a time it can only be stored for 20 fields for a particular object. So if you are having more than 30 fields or 20 fields, you cannot enable field history tracking for all the fields on the object. Then we can even set up the audit trail. So basically it will have the logs when modifications are made to our organization's configuration. So there are some organizations configuration like company setting, like language, currency, these things also we set up on the organization level, so we can check and have the audit trail for that as well. Now event monitoring, so basically event monitoring, if we are enabling that and check out that, so it will allow us to see the granular details of the user activity which we usually called as events in our organization, and we can even view the information about individual events or track the trends in events to swiftly identify the abnormal behavior, and again that, so that our company's data will not be compromised and we can safeguard it. So let's come to the quiz. Our first question is, which of these features can you use to control access at the object level? First option is authorized user list. Second is sharing rules. Third is permission sets. And the last one is object rules. So if I'll make you clear on every option, authorized user list is a access level on the organization level basically. Sharing rules, using sharing rules you can control the access on the record level access basis. Third is permission sets. Permission sets allow us to enhance the access which we are giving to a user on the profile level basis to on the object level basically. And last one, object rules, I don't think that there is any specific rule says that as object rules, so C option should be the correct one according to me. Then second question is, which of these is a method for controlling record level access? First one is organization wide defaults. Second one is permission set groups. Third is profiles, and last one is event monitoring. So first one is organization wide defaults. So we have already talked about that we can provide access for the particular object to provide access on the record level by giving it as private, public read or public read write, or even grant using role hierarchies. So this should be the correct one. But if we talk about it further, permission set group give access on the object level. Profile is for also for the object level access, and then event monitoring is for the audit trail things. Basically, whenever anything is being modified on the organization's level. So yeah, let's check this quiz, and this is done. Let's move on to the next unit. So our next unit is control access to the org. Now in this unit we are talking about control access to the org. So how we can control the access? So first of all, if you want to have to control the access on the organization level, that is on the broadest level, then there are certain things you can do so that you can manage or control that who can log in into Salesforce to protect your data. So for that purpose we can even do it by authorizing the user by setting the password policies, or even limiting them that when or from where they can log in. So we have already talked about it, that limiting when we can manage the login hours, and from where when the users can log in, we can manage that by the IP range. We can set the IP address range that based on these IP addresses only the user can log in, otherwise not. Then we have manage user. How do we want to manage the user? So each and every Salesforce user is identified by a unique username, their password, and a single profile. So the profile defines their default settings, that what are their restriction on the login level, what are their password policies, and even on their user level we can assign them with the additional permission sets apart from their profile, which will allow them to have certain object level access however they want, and even permission set groups also do the same thing. So that's what they can see, what they can do with the data, how much access they are having on the object level. That's all things we can manage on the user level. Now if you okay, so there's a basically challenge on this unit. So for that we will have to sign up for a free developer edition now. So I will just open this up in new tab. After opening it up in new tab, I'll just put the name as Trailhead, then Ranger NJ, give my email ID, Job role is developer, company is salesforce. Okay, let that be. And username is ranger ng trailhead. You can give your details like okay. Let's do this. This is just for email, sorry, username purpose. I'll click on sign me up and it will give me an email for confirmation. So after you are I'm sorry, after you are receiving an email, wait for a few minutes. Sometimes it takes some time. So after you are receiving with the email, there will be one button, verify your account, and there will be a hyperlink to the custom organization, and then there will be a username, your username. So you can just click on that verify your account button and set up the password. After setting up the password, you can connect your org by scrolling down and setting basically by connecting it. I have already done this as part of different video, the super badge one, so it is almost the same step, so I'll paste the link of that as well. So yeah, so then after you are done with all of this, just log in into the salesforce org and we'll continue with the steps. So like even here I'll show you that how can you connect your playground. So we have already created it from the above link, as it might be having some special data, that's why they have specially asked us to create it using that link. Now after doing all the resetting of password by going through the email, I'll show you the email as well. That's how it will look like, the login url, the username, and by clicking on this button you can just reset your password. So yeah, after that, after resetting the password, you can click on this connect org. It will lead you to the login page. On the login page, what you can do, you can just copy the username. Sometimes it does not go in one way, but yeah, let's try that and put in your password, then click on login. So it allowed me to logged in. Then after that you can click on allow. It is just asking that if that particular org can have access to your super badge, sorry, that trailhead module. And after connecting that, just wait, give it few seconds, sometimes it can take time. If not that, then maybe we will have to do this part again. Okay, let me just open up the unit once again. I'll open it in a new tab. The Trailhead module which we were working upon. I guess my network is a bit slow. Okay, nothing has loaded up. Let me do the refresh. In the meantime, let's see if it works. Yeah, it works in my favor. So yeah, after that you will see this kind of screen and you can just click on yes, save it. And then after that it will lead us back to our main module where we have linked this. So you can see by scrolling down, you can see that this is the playground it has logged into. Now we'll click on the launch button and we'll follow up the steps as okay, create a new user. I don't think we have to do the above step, but yeah, let's go through them. So basically after we have discussed about like what kind of access control you can do it by having it on the broadest level, on the organization level, and even by managing the user. And we are done with signing up on the developer edition org as well. So in this example they are showing us that how we can create a single user or multiple user at a time by providing the certain details, and then how we can deactivate it. So basically in salesforce you cannot ever delete a user. There are only two options available for you: either you can freeze the user or you can deactivate a user. So your deactivated user cannot log into your salesforce org, and they will lose access to all of the records that are shared with them, or they are shared with them as a team member. However it is, they will lose the access. Then there are some password policies which we can give access to We can have the user password expiration as well, that how after how much time we want the user to set up their new password, maybe in 15 days, 30, 60, 90 days, like that. And we can even have the password reset for the user as well. Then we can even set the login attempts, lockout periods. You can see all these options here. That is, user password expires in 90 days. Like how much history we want the system to remember of their password. So here three password they have remembered. What's the length we want, what kind of requirement we want for the password, and what kind of question if we want or not, and maximum how many invalid login attempts we want the user to have. And even lockout effective period, like lockout effective period is when you are on the screen, you are logged into the org, but sorry, but you are not making any activity, then it will log you out. So these kind of things. So yeah, and we have talked about the ip address range, right, as well. That is the trusted ip range. So you can set that up as well by going into the setup and just search for select network access, and then by clicking on new you can just set your trusted ip address range. And if we were talking about that if we want to restrict login access by ip address using profile, that is ip address trusted ip address range. Basically we are allowing our org to be accessed within this particular address range, but now we want our particular profile to not having access for a particular ip range. So that also we can do by going to the profile, and then there is an option for login ip ranges. So we can do that, and if we don't have enhanced profile interface enabled, we'll have to scroll down a lot to the login ip range related list. Then login hours also we can set it up by going to the profiles. So that's the all thing we have. Now we have already launched a playground, and in that we are having a requirement like we need to create a new user using the minimum access salesforce profile, and then deactivate the user to preserve the licenses. So as I have already mentioned that we are having two options but to delete the user, one is deactivate and another one is freeze. So basically if you have a requirement like you have created your user in the org, but that user will not be available for maybe 6 months due to maternity leave, or maybe he's or she is going away for a vacation for 1 month, then you don't want that user to access the org in the meantime. So you can just freeze that user and they will not have access to the org. But in case of deactivate, and their license will not be freed, but in case of deactivation, if the employee or the user is permanently leaving the organization and you do not want them to have the access to the system anytime soon or anywhere, or like not even in the long run, so you can just deactivate that user and that will free up the license as well. So now they have given us the instructions that we have to create a new user, giving the profile as minimum access salesforce, and license should be salesforce, and alias should be test user. So let's go to the org, and here we are already on the setup. If you are not, just go to the setup and then we'll search for users. By clicking on users, let's click on new user. And first of all, the main thing they have mentioned that alias should be this. Let's just clarify, like filled up their requirement. User license should be salesforce and profile should be minimum access salesforce. And the last thing is username must contain test user somewhere in it. Okay, so we'll give test user at the rate gmail.com, and username is having test user in it, and first name will give test and last name will give as user, and active checkbox is checked. Role is, let's give them product manager, not so up high in the hierarchy and not so below. That's it. We'll save the user. Yeah, you okay? Whether this okay, like do this, just we want our username to be unique. Okay. Um, let's hope. Yeah. So yes, you might be thinking earlier that why we did not make this active checkboxes unchecked. But they are saying the new user must be inactive because while saving it for the first time, it did not give that access. You can check that out as well. But now, if I'll editing the user again, I have that option to deactivate this user and make it inactive. I'll just save this, and now this user is inactive user. And the freeze part we have talked about, you can see the freeze option. And if you are system admin or somewhere higher in the org and they are allowing you or they are asking you to reset the password of some other user, you can just click on reset password button and everything is here. Like login history you can track, and even if you scroll down, permission set assignment, permission set group assignment. So all these things we have already talked about, right? And you can even check here like what groups they are part of, when they'll be part of, queue membership, team managers, who are their managers in the role hierarchy. Login history is not available because that user is just now created, but that's the things you have checked, you can check here. Okay, we'll move further and we'll check for the challenge. Let's give it few seconds, maybe 1 or 2 minutes as well. Okay, so this is done. Now let's move on with the next unit. Now we are talking about control access to objects. So basically this is talking about object level access. Okay, so first of all, object level access can be given using profiles, permission sets and permission set group. So basically I'll not go into detail, I'll explain you briefly like how does it work. So basically when we create a user, we give that user a profile. Suppose we have given them as sales representative. In that sales representative profile there are there is an option available to give the object level access for that profile. Like if you want them to give access on read only level, read write level, delete, create, or what kind of, you can just have the checkbox checked and have all that access there. Now, suppose there are 5 users in your organization with the same profile, that is the sales representative. But for some reason, you just want to give some extra access to 2 of your users. Okay, so for that, what you will do, you will create a permission set. You will have that enhanced level of access in that permission set. It is just have a UI of like similar UI of the profile. Like you will have to go to the object settings and then you will have to give the object access. So suppose on the profile level we have given access of only read, but now for these 2 users we want to give access on the one more level, that is edit. So we will have the edit checkbox checked in the permission sets but not on the profile. So this way if these 2 users will have access to this permission set, or if they are assigned with these 2 permission sets, then they will have the access. So that is clear. Now when the permission set groups comes into the picture, so as I have mentioned, like there are 2 users and you want to give the permission sets, sorry, extra permission, so you created the permission set. What we can do in much simpler way to have our this synchronized, or I would say organized and managed, what you can do, you can have created one more thing like permission set groups and just keep it neutral. You don't have to give access to permission set group, although you can give access using permission set group as well. So this is called as persona in our salesforce terms. We are assigning a persona to the users. So basically suppose we will give this persona or permission set group name as manager because they are having additional level of access. So in this permission set group, we will just assign those permission set which we have just created by giving them right access, and assign it to this permission set group, and then we will assign this permission set group to the user instead of giving them permission set. So that way they will be having this persona, this additional level of access. But those three user, the remaining three user which are not assigned with this permission set group or permission set, they will not have access to this thing, like they will not be able to edit the objects. So that's the thing. Now, okay, they are just giving the examples based on recruiters, interviewers, and standard employees. Again, you can see that recruiter is having these are the objects. Recruiter is having these level of access. Hiring manager is this, interviewer is this, and the standard employee is not having access to all these objects, but to read access only for the position. So yeah, now we can set up a profile. So as we have learned earlier that each user can have one profile only, and which is also associated with one user license, which is available in Salesforce based on the different additions it is having. That is developer, enterprise, unlimited, and more. So yeah, so basically it includes a set of standard profiles. Some examples are standard user, marketing user, contact manager, system administrator, and minimum access Salesforce. So system administrator out of this is having the highest level of access. Basically, the person who is having the system administrator access owns the Salesforce organization, like owns that particular org of the Salesforce. Yeah, so that's how it works. And if you want to create your custom profile, you can clone any of the standard profile, but yes, in the standard profile we cannot edit anything. So that's what you gotta do. Means if I'm not wrong, like certain things we can do, but we cannot edit everything in the standard profiles. I'll just read it out here. You cannot edit the object permission on a standard profile. However, we can clone any existing profile and use that as the basis for a new profile and adjusting settings as needed. So yeah, we cannot edit the object permission on standard profile, but we can edit other things, some of the things. Now we basically we can create and assign a profile, custom profile. So if you have created a custom profile, there is a custom column on the list view which will be checked, so you will know. So and from the setup we can go to the user management setting, and basically you can have this on your UI enabled if it is not already, by going to this user management setting and enable the enhanced profile user interface, so that when you will clone the profile, you can clone the profile, save it, you will be able to see that this profile is the cloned one, the custom one. Now use permission sets and permission set groups to grant access. This is already we have discussed. So we can even give access of Apex classes, connected app access, custom permissions, field permission, object permissions, user permission, tab settings, and visual force pages. So these are also the some of the permissions that we can give using the permission sets and permission set groups. And this is again they are talking in terms of when like example recruiting app. They have given an example that how we can create a permission set and give an object level of permission. Similarly for the permission set group, and then on the summarize option we are checking out the object access on the permission set or permission set group level. So yeah, now if we will come to the challenge. So the challenge said that for our recruiting app we need to create a permission set which will grant access to the positions object, then add this permission set to the recruiters permission set group which we created in the unit. Okay, so we have not basically created anything till now. Let's do that. If you have not already created the recruiters permission set group described in this unit, we have to do it now. So only we need to create a permission set group. Let's scroll up, and here this is the example. I'll just go back to this, and if you have not already launched a playground or you are not on the setup, just go to the setup and search for permission set group. After searching for permission set group, we have to create a new permission. So we'll just click on new permission set group, give the label as recruiters, and then we want to add the permission set as access and manage reviews. I think this will be difficult because we have not created the permission set. Or let's, I think, move ahead. They just talked about creating a permission set group, right? So I will not create the permission set as of now. We'll create this permission set. Let's search for permission set now. Okay, you can check permission sets in group from here. There are no. So if we will click on add permission set, I'm just hoping. Okay, we are not getting a new option here, so I'll just go to the permission sets and click on new button, then copy this manage positions, and description they are not checking, so let's not give this. We do not want to assign a license. So basically the way we have assigned a license to the user, we can assign license to the permission sets as well, and even I believe permission sets, and but there is a limitation to this, like limitation as in, suppose if you are providing access to the salesforce, then there are certain objects which are part of another license, another application, or another package, I would say, installed package, that then you won't be able to provide access or manage that access using this permission set. So that's the kind of thing you will learn in future if you are new to the salesforce. So yeah, and now we want to give the position object permission as read, create, and edit. So you can go to the object setting here, and I'll do direct search of positions. Here is the object. Currently there is no access. After opening the positions object, I'll give read, create, and edit. If we'll see, yeah. So you can see other things as well: delete, view all records, modify all records, and view all fields. So we can give these access as well for the particular object on the permission set profile level. Now we want to add the permission set to the recruiters permission set group. So I will save this. Now I'll go back to the permission set group and open this permission set group which we have just created. Click on the permission sets in group, click on add permission sets, and then just search for M, that is manage positions. Select the checkbox and click on add. This is done. Now verify that the manage positions permission set and the recruiters permission set group are displayed in the object access summary page for the position object. Okay, we'll go to the object manager summary page for object. Are we talking about? Okay, object manager, object access is a new thing. Okay, that's I'm new to this. Like I have not tried this object access thing. Okay, let's see. I'll open the object. We have object access, so this will provide us the summary that what all access this object is having. So it is having this permission set access which is custom, read, create, and edit access is there, but not anything else. Then permission set group is there, read, create, edit. You might wonder that we have not provided any access on the permission set group, but basically we have assigned permission set into the permission set group, so it inherits all the access we are giving on the permission set level to the permission set group. So that's why it says that we create a persona in our org. Now profile, these two, these are standard one which we did not touch. So yeah, let's verify the challenge now. And it's done. Let's move on to the next unit. So our next unit is control access to field. So basically the way we have talked about the authorization level access, the object level access, now we will be talking about the field level access. We can provide the users access to specific fields based on their profiles, permission sets, and permission sets group. So it is very similar to the object level, but what's the difference is you can provide the read, edit, create, delete, modify all, view all, these kind of access to object. But for the fields there are only two type of access, that is either you can have those fields available for the user in read mode, or otherwise in edit mode, or otherwise in no mode at all. That's the only feature we have. So yeah, so basically there is this one example they are giving. So here are some field level security setting that we can set. So suppose there is a position object and we want to hide the minimum and the maximum bonus from the standard employees and the interviewers, but on the candidate object we want to hide social security numbers from the hiring managers and the interviewers, and on the job application object we want to make the position and the candidate lookup fields read only for hiring manager. So in simple language, like, let's not dig deep into the details, but what we'll have to do is for the hiring manager, suppose there will be a profile. Let's talk about only on the profile level. So if there is a profile, we can just have these two lookup field on the job application object as read only. Then for the manager profile and the interviewer profile, for the candidate object we can hide, that means we can even disable the read as well as the added access for the social security number. Similarly, for the standard employees and the interviewers, for the position object we can remove the access for read and edit for the minimum and the maximum bonus fields. So that's how it works. And now they are giving an example that how you can create a permission set and give a field level permission. So let's not do this. And again, if you want to have set field permissions for the multiple permission sets, what you can do, you can go to the setup and search for user management settings, and there you will find one feature, that is field level security for permission sets during field creation, if it is not already available. So basically what will happen is, while you are creating a new field, you will get access that if you want to provide the FLS, that is field level security, for this particular field or not, and to which profile and not. So that's how you can do it. Yeah, now there is a challenge for this. So let's launch our playground already, and if we'll come back here, so basically the requirement is that the hiring manager can update the job applications, but they cannot change the related candidate or the position. So if I am understanding it correctly, related candidate and permission will be the lookup field, and they cannot change it means they should not be able to edit it. They can read it, and now they want to update the job applications, so they should have edit access for the job application. Now we want to create a permission set that gives the correct access. So when I have explained in this unit that I have talked about the access giving on the profile level, but as we talked about the permission set in the previous unit, that is on the providing for the object level access, we have discussed that when we want to give the enhanced level of access, we can utilize the permission set. And also it is very simpler that you can have the base level of permissions on the profile, and whenever there is some enhanced level of access you want to give for particular user or set of user, you can just create a permission set or permission set group and assign that to that particular user. So here now we have to create a permission set, that is manage job applications. So I'll just go back and search for permission set. In the permission set, I'll click on new and give the label and API as suggested. After that, they are asking us to add a description, but as they will not be checking for this, so I'll skip this. License we are not providing, and as I have told you earlier, that license comes with specific limitations as well as their advantages there as well. Like for particular license there will be extra access. Similarly, for particular license there will be some of the access which you won't be able to have for other object which belongs to the different package. So yeah, now we want to enable the job application object permission as read and edit, because they want to give the read edit access. They want the user to update the job application. So I have clicked on the object settings. I'll do the control F and search for job application. sorry, there is the object. I'll click on this and I'll click on edit, and yeah, then I'll give read and edit option here, and I will save this. So this I have given the object level access. Now we want to enable the job application field permission as well, and assign users can view all fields and edit all fields except they cannot edit position and the candidate. So again you can click on edit. So the field level access also you can provide here only. This is the object level permission, and these are all the fields for this particular object, that is the job applications. So they want us to give read access and the edit access for all the fields, so I'll just check this top check box. Now they do not want us to provide the user to access of position and the candidate on the edit level. So I'll just uncheck this edit checkbox and I will save this. After saving it, I'll just go here and check for the challenge. So I hope you are getting the better understanding of that, how the object, field level access or even the organization level access comes in the picture, and where we can use all of them. And in case if you are encountering any doubt, you can just let me know in the comment section. I'll be sure to respond on to that. Now we'll be moving on to the next unit, that is control access to records. So we have talked about organization level access, object level, field level. Now we are moving on to the record level access. So record level access is basically to control the data access precisely, that we have given the object level access, that user can view that object, user can view the certain fields, but do we want to give that user a record level access or not? That they allowed to view the particular individual records or not? So that we can control, and there are usually four ways. So first is organization by default. So basically it goes from restricted way to the most giving access way. Like, I'm not able to find the correct word, but yeah. So on the organization by default, we can control, like, do we want the user or do we want to allow the particular object's record to be accessible by their owner itself, or if they can be available for everybody to read mode only, or if they can be available for everyone in read write mode only. So that you can control. Then role hierarchies comes into the picture. In the role hierarchies, as I have explained earlier as well, level 1, level 2 and level 3. So basically level 1 people will be able to see their records only. Level 2 can see the records owned by themselves as well as by level 1, and level 3 can be able to see all the records owned by themselves, owned by level 2 and owned by level 1. So that's how it works. Then sharing rules. So sharing rules is, again, I would say, similar to the permission sets in way that it enhance the access given on the profile level. So sharing rule enhance the access of record level access given on the organization wide default or the role hierarchies level. So sharing rule comes in two modes, like either you can have it owner based or you can have it criteria based. Owner based is very understandable, as its name suggests, that record owned by the user, owned by a public group or particular queue can should be able to see by them only. And then criteria based is if they are fulfilling a certain criteria, like we can say if their role is this only, then they should be able to see the record. So these kind of things we have put in their filter conditions. Now manual sharing is just the user is sharing the record with a particular user, group, queue or anybody by clicking on the sharing button. So it will give them read or edit access as they select. So as I have said, that organization wide defaults give the base level access and it opens up as we move onwards. So yeah, now they're talking about in detail, like in the organization by default, that who is the most restricted user of this object, is it ever going to be an instance of this object that this user shouldn't be allowed to see. So these kind of things we have to take in care of. So if I have already mentioned that there are three types: private, public read, and public read write. So if you want that your record should be able to see only by the owner of that record, then its sharing model should be private. If it should be allowed to be accessible by others as well, but in read only, then public read only. But if it should be allowed to access by other users in each and every action, like they should be able to read as well as they should be able to update that record, then it should be available in public read write. And then control by parent also, there's an option like grant using role hierarchies basically. No, control by parent is basically a user will be able to view, edit or delete a record if they can perform that same action of the object it belongs to. So I would say the child parent relationship if we are talking about. So suppose I'll take an example. If you have worked on like order summary like that, so you can give access for the order object. For the order summary, it will always be available access on the control by parent level. So that's the thing. Now if we'll move forward, so they are talking about how you can handle, or you can, from where you can manage the organization wide default settings. So in the setup, you can just search for the sharing settings, search for sharing settings in the quick find box, and then by clicking on edit you will get this look. So these are all the objects. This is the default internal access, external access, and grant access using hierarchies. So here you can manage that. Now let's come to the challenge. So our requirement is that for the recruiting app, we must create a custom object to track the referrals for the positions. Referral codes records by default should be visible only to the record owner and should not be visible to users above the owner in the role hierarchy. So I'll make you understand this. So basically we will be creating a custom object first. Then for that custom object, we'll be handling the organization wide default settings, because they are saying that it should be visible only to the record owner. So we will have the sharing model as private, and then they are saying that it should not be visible to users above the owner in the role hierarchy. Then there is a checkbox here, you can see grant access using hierarchies. So we should disable this checkbox. Then we have to create the referral custom object, then update the, okay. So let's come here. So if you have not learned how to create a, okay, so we have already learned that and we know that. So I'll copy the name. Let's go setup object manager, and I'll click on create, and then new custom object, and let's give its label as referral, and it would be referrals. Yes, object name is referral, record name is referral, referral name, yeah. So here record name is referral name is correct only. Okay, this is it. They have not allow like ask us to change anything on the default settings, so I'll keep it as it is. I'll save the custom object. Now we have to go for the home of the setup. We'll search for the sharing settings. This is it. Now they are saying we need to configure the organization wide default settings for the referral object so that the referral records are visible only to the record owner. So here we are landed on the sharing settings. I'll do the control F again and search for referral object. Here it is. Currently it is present in public read write mode only for the internal access. So internal access is basically the salesforce org access. So for that I'll change it to private. Now the second is sharing settings so that the referral records are not visible to the users above the owner in the role hierarchy. And we will uncheck this checkbox. This leads us to the grant access using hierarchies. You can see that there are some checkbox for the access using hierarchies is disabled. So these objects are standard objects and we are not allowed to change it. So that will stay as it is. And yeah, we'll save this, although they are saying that they will not check for this, but yeah, let's make that change. And then I'll check for the challenge. Let's wait for it, give it few seconds, minutes. We cannot find the correct organization wide default sharing settings for the referral. Okay, let's make it understand more clearly. For the referral objects, so that the referral records are visible. Okay, visible only to the record owner. Okay, is it not updated? Let me go down to the referral object. It's private. Okay, I'll edit it and I'll change it to the public read. I'll save this and I'll check for the challenge once again. Uh, okay, let me refresh this. Let me see if the settings has been updated. Okay, let me check the challenge. According to me, it should be private only. What I'll do is I'll change it to private and wait for a few seconds. I think the settings are taking some time to change and then update and then have it received on the wide level, like to get it checked through. So I'll just wait for it. I'll select the R object. Hmm. Okay, I have received the email as well for the same. Now I'll just check for this again. If still it is not correct, I don't know like what mistake I'm making here. Okay, so basically the private was correct. Our first option, like the way I did it, was correct only. But the problem is it was taking some time to get it, updated in the system and then got checked at the trailhead level. So let's move on to the next unit. Now we are talking about create a role hierarchy. So the role hierarchy and the record access we will be talking about. So on the record, when we were discussing about the record access, we have already talked about role hierarchy, the level 1, level 2, level 3 things, and the grant access using hierarchy. So this is the thing they are talking about and from where we can set up the roles. So let's move on to the challenge directly. So we want to finish setting up the recruiting manager and the recruiter roles. Remember that the VP human resources can see records owned by or shared to users in the recruiting manager role, and the recruiting managers can see that the data recruiters can access. So basically recruiters will be on the below level, then recruiter manager, and then the VP human resources. So I'll just copy this. We need to create a recruiting manager role. So go to the setup again and search for role. While going like opening the roles, you can see this pop up. You can click on setup roles and then okay, let me just add role here on the CEO. Label will be this, role name. This will report to the CEO. Let's save this. Okay, sorry, VP human resources. Okay, I'm sorry, I'll have to create this role as well. I'll do the edit here and VP human resource I'll select and I'll save this. Yeah, now I'll create the recruiter role and it should report to the recruiting manager. So I'll go to the roles again, or maybe here only. Okay, I think I'll have to go to the roles. Then set up roles again and click on your, if I'll expand this, yeah, I can see recruiting manager, so I'll click on add role here. Now give the label as recruiter and I'll save this. So that's how we have created the hierarchy. We can check that as well once. Let's do the expand all. So basically that's how it's look like: VP human resources, then recruiting manager and the recruiter. So now if I'll check this challenge, this is done as well, and I hope we are moving towards the last unit of this module, that is defining the sharing rules. So again we have talked about the sharing rules, that we can give the extend level of access for the record access using the sharing rules. So we can share them with the individual users, roles and subordinates, territories and subordinates, and the other public group access as well. We can give access of them read or edit. So yeah, now they are talking about how you can give access. First of all, they're creating a public group and then assigning that group the access. We can add members to the group. We are defining a sharing rule as well. So if we'll move forward to the challenge, so okay, first of all, the program object has an org by default of private, but recruiters need access to any campus outreach programs for the recruitment purpose. So we need to create a custom pick list field on the program object, then create a criteria based sharing rule to share the necessary records with the recruiters. Before you start, make sure you complete the hands-on challenges in the previous unit of this module before you attempt this challenge. So we have already done that. If you have not created a custom field before, so that is also we have done already. So I'll just copy the field name. I'll go back, go to the object manager, search for program, open the program, click on fields and relationship, click on new, and the field type is pick list. Scroll down to the next, and the field label is type. Now these are the values we want to give. So I'll go under values here. First this, then company outreach, development, and the last one is research. Okay, now go to the next. Now they are saying on the field level security page, see, set this field as visible for all profiles or as read access for all permission sets. Okay, so these are the profile as of now, so visible to all profiles. Then next, now okay, the permission set level is not given. One second, let me duplicate this tab, and if I will open user management settings, search for user management settings, and let's see, enhanced profile user interface is also not enabled. Let's enable this. Set component field level security for permission sets during field creation, so we'll enable this. Now what we'll do, we'll go to the previous, let's hope it to, yeah, so basically now we are having the access for the permission sets as well. So they have said give the read access for all the permission, so this we have given. Now we can move on to save this one. Now we have to create a sharing rule, that is campus outreach programs. So I'll go to the home and I'll search, sorry, I will search for sharing settings. Now I'll scroll down, lead account case user, our sharing rule is on, sorry, program sharing rules. Okay, campus outreach program, click on new, give the label and rule name. Now we want to create it on the criteria base. So you can see rule type is record owner and the criteria. This we have discussed, I hope you remember that. So I'll select the criteria and we want to create it on the type field. So if type is equals to campus outreach, let's select this. And so we want to share these records of the program with role recruiter. So share with public group roles and roles and internal subordinates. So we want to allow recruiters to see its roles, and we have recruiter role, and access level we want to give as read write. Recruiter should be able to read as well as update the record. So we'll save this, click on OK. Again, the way we have encountered problem with the sharing settings, the private thing. So just wait for few seconds, give it few minutes. It also give you email as well for the confirmation that your update has been done. Wait for it and let me try the challenge again, means check for the challenge. So yes, this was very long video again, but we have completed the data security, and these all topics are very important, very on base level, and it will be in your it will be useful for you from the starting of your career in Salesforce till the end of your career in Salesforce. It's the very base of that. So just focus on this video very hardly. I've explained each and every topic best to my knowledge, and the best I could deliver. But still, if I am lacking somewhere, please let me know. I'll happy to improve myself. And yeah, if you like the video, please like it and subscribe the channel, and let me know in the comment section what kind of video or maybe any another topic you have in mind related to the Salesforce for me to work upon or for me to get started on. So yeah, thank you, stay tuned.